what is the CBD and the COP15, because we have new members. We have also people joining us from other feminist allies constituencies, from other processes. So we're gonna just give a quick recap about what is the Convention on Biodiversity, what is the COP15 of the Biodiversity Convention. We're gonna share with you the official roadmap towards COP15, because yes, in December we have this important event, which is the COP, but before arriving or towards arriving to it, there are gonna be other events and other sessions that we also need to know about, so we can participate in those. We're gonna share in detail about what will happen in December, and we're gonna dedicate a bit more of time to explain and to brainstorm together about how we can use all of these different spaces and mechanisms that the Women Caucus has for engage in the process of the CBD. And lastly, a big chunk of the meeting is we're going to focus on sharing with you what happened in the part one of the, well, in the previous working groups, because, you know, this is the first session of 5. In the next 4, we're gonna dive in the documents that we are gonna address and the countries are gonna negotiate and discuss in these sessions that we're gonna explain in a bit. So in order for us to be prepared for our own workshops, we need to give a sort of background about which are the documents and that are gonna be reviewed then and what have been discussed already. So that's what we are gonna share at the in the second part of this session. And this is under the objectives of to build a common ground around COP15, the key documents and key sessions that are going to happen, and to start organizing ourselves as the Women Caucus in the different thematic task forces, depending on your expertise, depending on your interest, and depending on the priorities that we could identify as the key documents or the key topics that we want to engage as the caucus. So this is the work that we are gonna have today. Okay, so the next one. Quickly, I'm gonna share with all of you. Here you can find more info in the slides. We have typed in different web pages. Maybe Ali, if you can share those in the chat so people can access them easily. So what is the CBD? In a nutshell, is the Convention on Biological Diversity, entered into force in 1993. It's one of the 3 Rio conventions, along with the Climate Convention and the Desertification one, and it has 3 main objectives. Yes, the conservation of biodiversity, but also, and these other 2 are kind of forget sometimes, is the sustainable use of the biodiversity and its components, and the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising of the utilization of genetic resources. It's not only the conservation is only one of the 3 objectives. So that's why many of the documents, many of the topics around that are discussed under the CBD, it's also about managed ecosystems, economic activities, production sectors, and also traditional knowledge, fair and equitable sharing, access to genetic resources. And what is the COP15? We know that the different international agreements, not only the climate, not only the UNCCD, all of them have this form of meeting, this type of meeting, which is the Conference of the Parties, which is the governing body of the convention. It's a session that in case of the CBD, it happens every 2 years, and it's where the decisions are taken, where the agreements are done, based in different other intersessional meetings that the CBD has. So in case of the COP15, it will be held in 2 phases. The phase 1, it's already took place virtually in last year, virtually and in a hybrid mode, because also there was a high-level event in Kunming. And the second part will happen in Montreal, Canada, at the end of this year, we know, in December from the 7th to the 19th. And in these web pages, you can find more information about what is the CBD and specifically what is the COP. So with this, just quick recap for those that didn't have this in the radar, we then move forward into what is going to happen from now, August, September, until or before December. Just let me double check that. Yeah, Tina, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry. I hope everybody can see the screen well. All right, so now what I'll be just quickly going through is some of the things that are going to be planned out. There, like Amelia talked about, there is a lot of things happening. So one of the key elements to really stay posted of what's really happening is to go to the official CBD meeting link, where you will see everything that is being planned. So as we know that besides the more official meeting of the working group on 2020, there are other things that are also being planned, including like an online discussion forum on the EPSAs. And one of the, Amelia, can you just go on the next click one on that? And what you'll really see is one of the really important meeting, besides for the COP15, which was very important for us to keep in mind, is this new meeting that has come up, which is called the meeting of the informal group on the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, which is going to be taking place at the last week of September. The information about it just was sent out today by the Secretariat, and where I have already put in the link there, and please do check it out. So what's going to happen in this informal group is that basically the co-chairs, the working group co-chairs, have put together regional groupings, not all parties, but selected regional groupings to come together in Montreal and flush out as much of the information that they can from the outcome document or the plenary in-session document that was discussed in the open-ended working group 4 meeting in Nairobi. The idea behind it is that these collective of small grouping of party-led will clean up the text, which will be providing more guidance for the open-ended working group 5 later in December. Now, one thing to also note is that there is no civil society engagement foreseen in this formal group meeting. So the way the notification has been sent out is being that this is for our information. This is a regional group led by the parties. And after this group meets, they will be presenting the outcome of the informal group during an information webinar for the stakeholders and other parties. So we just want to quickly go through that because it's a really important element. Next slide, please. So besides that key element, what is really building up to is the December part. As you all know, this is part of the COP15, part 2. Amelia will share this again. This is also for our understanding, and it will be very good to reflect on some of those documents, that the CBD COP15 is not taking place for the first time. The part 1 of it, and a lot of the information has already been discussed, was already done in 2021 in September, October, around the same time the climate COP was taking place. The part 1 of the CBD also took place in Kunming. So these are the meetings that are coming up. So first is the open-ended working group. These are, again, a 5th session that they've decided to kind of come up with. Then you have, of course, the part 2 of the CBD COP15. And this is also to let all the Women's Caucus members also know that besides the CBD COP, which is going to be discussing the COP15 open-ended working group goals and targets, we also really need to see if any of our members has been following 2 very key components of the COP, which is also the COP MOP for Cartagena protocol, which is on biosafety, and also the COP MOP for Nagoya protocol. And all these 3 COPs, or the COP MOP, will actually be taking place together around the same time. The schedule is not up yet, but how they take part is that there are 3 subsequent meetings taking place. So those are really very important. And also to share that on the 15th to the 17th, there's also going to be a high-level segment that is being organized. Next, please. So now this is again an updated, like I said, there's a lot of information. So one of the key important link out here is to already go on the information link. And I have put in the link here and also a screenshot of what's available there. So you will see that the COP15, the CP-MOP, the Cartagena Protocol, the Nagoya Protocol documents and subsections can all be found in one element. You also have the high-level segment, the associated events, virtual display table, and media. And there's going to be also one update is going to be a side events, which is still in progress. And in the information tab, if you go there, this is one of the questions that everybody keeps asking would be, how are the badges going to be organized during this COP? All those details, including a lot of the others, like they're also having accommodation, bilateral meeting with the executive secretary, the SEPA fair, the high-level segment, the side events. If you scroll down in these sub-tabs, you will have all the informations required. Now, quite a few of them are still awaiting to be updated, but this is one important link that I would encourage everybody to just keep going and checking from time to time. Next slide, please. All right, Amelia, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Tina. So now we're going to share with you all the different spaces and mechanisms that in a formal or informal way the Women Caucus has been using to engage during the previous CBD sessions, either the intersessional ones or the previous COP. And we are planning to keep using these ways about reaching different audiences and different stakeholders. One of the different spaces and mechanisms, and we're gonna go in detail in the upcoming slides, are the submissions, the official submissions, the recommendation booklets or policy briefs of publications, the in-person participation, also the statements and intervention that we could do and that we can deliver during the meetings. The different advocacy strategies, activities, or actions that we could organize and that we can implement in session, virtually, in the venue, outside the venue. It depends on the creativity and the activities that we would like to foresee as the caucus. The different side events that we could organize, and we are going to discuss that later. The ECO, which is the Civil Alliance publication, like a daily newsletter, and two really important meetings that we want to strengthen and to keep organizing them is the Women Caucus preparatory meeting. We're gonna give more details soon about it, and the Women Caucus daily meetings, which will be hybrid between the people that are in Montreal and the others that possibly that could not attend the COP in person, but that are willing to keep following what is being discussed. So what we refer about submissions, maybe you are aware about this process. During in a continued way, the CBD is asking for written submissions, written comments, advice from the different stakeholders, the countries, the agencies, organizations. And the process, how this works, is that the CBD sends out a notification, an official notification, letting the stakeholders know that they are requiring inputs regarding X or Y topic. And regarding that topic, they provide the official document that they want us to comment on. And sometimes they also give a template. So we as stakeholders can provide our comments, questions, suggestions, provide recommendations, policy recommendations, text recommendations, if we manage to deliver all of them on on time before the deadline that it's stated in the notification. Right now, there is a notification on a submission, a process ongoing. If you are already subscribed in the mailing list, you have received, and thank you so much for the ones that already have provided their inputs. We are working on this notification that is dealing with the draft elements of the possible decision, operationalizing the post-2020 GBF. The deadline is September 2. I'm already collating all the inputs that you have provided, and we're gonna send before sending it to the CBD, we're gonna share with all of you to review the document again, and then submit it as the Women Caucus to the Secretariat. But also you can engage as individually on behalf of your organization. I mean, so you can go into this web page, for example, to see all the notification. Look in particular for this one, the 9422, and then you can also participate on behalf of your organization. But it would be better if you can. I will resend after this meeting the email where I am asking for your inputs. So if you can read the document, it's just a 2-page document, and provide your comments regarding it.
Yeah, thanks, Amelia. Now, one of the for the preparations, what we have been looking at are how can we really provide inputs. One of the challenges has been that over the 2 years, as you saw, that the physical meetings have not taken place. So one of the spaces for advocacy where you could do, you can go and do bilateral meetings with the parties, or talk to the Secretariat, or talk to the allies. So what we really started doing was to have policy briefs to inform all these processes. So these are some of the things that we did just before the open-ended working group 3 in Geneva, which was the first meeting in person. So we first took out a report, which was on advancing women's rights and the future of the post-2020, in which we basically took out all the recommendations which we thought was needed for the full implementation of the global biodiversity framework. So if you do have the opportunity, it has been shared in our mailing list, but it's also available in English, French, and Spanish. So please take a look at that. Now, in preparation for the Nairobi meeting, which was going to be discussing on the textual proposals, we also came out with a policy brief with concrete text proposals. And this was carried out by one of these virtual workshops that we are doing right now, where we brought the group together to work with breakout rooms and look at different contact group text and recommend some textual suggestions. The other part about our work has been how to integrate a human rights-based approach in the global biodiversity framework. And we have been collaborating. There is a human rights working group within the GBF. So that's the other report that we've been contributing to. So these are some of the key elements that we are working. And of the other workshop that'll be coming in, what we are putting together, we are hoping that we will be taking out a similar brief and publication, including a textual proposal document. And we just need to see when, now that you see that the September meeting is planned. So we just need to see whether we need to rush up instead of November, already start thinking of the text proposals to push it before the September last week. So we will see how that goes. Next slide, please. So one of the key elements that Amelia talked about is what's really important are these pre-processes. Like the submissions are very important because some of them are also required for some of the COP decision documents. So that's a submission. Then what you also have is that we also have inquiries saying that how can we engage in the CBD process. These are some of the elements that I would suggest. One is submissions. These submissions can be done by anybody. So when these notifications comes out and it is shared widely in our networks and other spaces, is to engage in that process. The CBD briefing sessions. So over the 2 years, what has also been happening is the Secretariat has been organizing these different briefing sessions prior to the virtual sessions and information sessions like I talked about, including like the EPSAs and other. So again, these information is sent through notification and you can register it. Again, there is no closed doors. If you register, you are able to participate. So there's another opportunity. Then you also, of course, have the virtual and in-person meetings. So virtual meetings are again in the Women's Caucus meeting, like we have those preparatory meetings and other meetings also organized by our allies, the IAFB, the Gibbon, the Global Biodiversity, the CBD Alliance. So if you are also part of those networks and major groups, please join, because it also really helps you understand like different perspectives, different key recommendations or key policy strategies that each of the major groups have also been working towards the Global Biodiversity Framework. And of course, you also have the in-person meetings, and we will carry out some of these planned activities, and we'll also like to know how many of you are planning to come, because we would like to meet you and also see how we could strengthen our advocacy work in coming up to Montreal. Like I said, please join in. So you have the CBD major stakeholders groups, the CBD Alliance, which is the civil society constituency, the IIFB, that is the International Indigenous Forum on Biodiversity, which is the Indigenous Peoples Caucus. Indigenous representatives are welcome to join the group. You can send them an information. They have a web page on the internet. You could reach out to them, including the GBYN, which is the Global Biodiversity Youth Network, the Youth Constituency, and of course, the Women's Caucus. I think some of the things that I've already talked about is how it is, please again, take a look at the CBD notification. And also when you're talking about, in particular, say, for example, the upcoming CBD meeting, the notification again was shared where the nomination process has already started since mid-15th of August. So, so please look at it. And if your organization is accredited or you know of a sister organization who could help you get accredited to attend this meeting, that is a way to kind of go forward. And if you are engaging with all the other processes, you know, that's how it works. Either it's the SDGs or the UNEP or something, you have to accredit it through an accredited organization to that convention. And then also, I also encourage people, like if you are a new organization and you want to engage, you can always get accredited. So please also explore that option. I don't know how much time it takes to be accredited because COP is now only few, but it is an opportunity worth also exploring. And I always encourage organizations to please explore that and have yourself accredited to be able to also engage, especially for in-person meetings, which requires you to be an accredited organization. Next, please. Next slide, please.
Yeah, can you, that was the. Okay, so we can see that there's a question in the chat about which is the process about for the new ones to join, but to join the CBD Women Caucus or to join the CBD per se. We are going to share soon in the chat. My colleague Ale is going to share in the chat the notification that the CBD sent about how to accredit yourself, your organization, to participate in the CBD, but also if you want to accredit your organization, like to receive the observer status, there's also the information in that notification, so you can follow that. And well, coming back to other way of that we have been engaging and that we will also encourage you all to participate during the upcoming months are these statements. The statements are these speeches or these discourses that we draft collectively, and that one of us will read depending on who are in person in the sessions. The different types of statements are the opening, the closing, because those are delivered at the beginning or at the end of the meetings. the high-level segment 1, and also there are different statements that are pre-prepared for each agenda item based on the policy booklets or the policy draft or policy briefs that we are going to develop based on the upcoming workshops. The process that these statements go through are first that we need to define drafting leaders, and that means that all of you are more than welcome to take the lead on one of each, depending on your interest, on your expertise, and the topics that are going to be discussed as agenda items in the meetings. Then defining this drafting leader, we all are more than welcome to contribute in the online drafting of these statements. Then the leader of it will close the document, will polish it, and so we can have time to submit it for interpretation during the sessions. The CBD Secretariat are encouraging all of the stakeholders, all of the observers, all the participants to send the statements at least 1 hour before the item is being discussed, so the interpreters during the CBD sessions have time to review them and have time to provide an effective interpretation for them. And then, well, the statement is read alive during the sessions. And here we can see a picture of the closing statement that Sharon, a member of the Women Caucus, delivered during the closing of the OEWG4 a couple of months ago in Nairobi. Another way of engaging is the advocacy. And here I guess that all of you have different ideas, different suggestions. And as Tina is mentioning in the chat, please go into the Jamboard so you can type in all the different suggestions that you have. So we can organize all of us to advocate together. Here in the slide, you are just looking at some different examples. One of the, for example, one of the strategies that we have pursued is the flower diplomacy, which has been delivering flowers to the different representatives, to the different party delegates who have supported explicitly the target on gender equality. We also have had press conferences, for example, to let the media know what we are advocating for, why it is important, and also to take the message out of the little world that is the CBD or the CBD sessions, and so all people outside the venue can know what has been discussing, particularly on the topic that mattered to us. We have been also pursuing this campaign on I Support Gender Equality Target and Gender is a Biodiversity Issue. And as you can see, there are many delegates, many representatives that have been engaged with it, such as the Mexican and Chilean delegates. And another way of advocating is the direct meetings with the delegations that are in the sessions, so we can discuss with them the different topics, and to clarify if they have any question about our points and if they are doubtful about supporting us, as it was the case of the delegates of Democratic Republic of Congo. Like in Nairobi, we could chat with them alongside with the representative of the Human Rights Office, and to clarify the questions that they had about the target on gender equality, and at the end they decided to support it. Okay, so moving on, another way of participating during these sessions are the side events. And here also, once again, we are gonna invite you to provide your inputs, either in the Jamboard, either in the chat. And I'm gonna send another email, particularly on this topic, regarding which side event would you like to organize in a collective way as the CBD Women Caucus. The deadline to submit the concept note is September 30, so we kind of have 1 month for that. We know that if there are different conveners, the side events is better run and therefore could be chosen by the Secretariat to actually have a space, because even if you submit your concept note, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna have it, because they go through a selection process. So our main questions for you all is who would like to collaborate on behalf of your organization, or let us know if you are planning one already. Are you going to submit your own concept note on which is going to be the topic? But particularly for the side event that we would like to organize as Women Caucus, we are suggesting 3 topics. One, it could be human rights and gender in the post-2020 GBF. Another topic could be the gender plan of action implementation, because we know that after COP15, the GPA is going to be there, so we need to push for the GPA is actually implemented and do not stay only in the paper. Or another topic could be the target on gender equality. And well, the questions that we have for all of you is, do you have any other ideas about other topics that you think that as Women Caucus we could push for? Who could be a speaker? Could be people from our community, from our membership, or if you have in mind different experts from different backgrounds that could speak or present during these side events. If you know that because also this is another criteria that could be that could make our side event kind of successful, is that if there are parties interested in that particular topic, because we know that one of the main objectives of organizing side events is just raising awareness, disseminating information about a key topic, but also it's a space that we could use to push forward our points and strategy. So we need to make sure that this side event is also attractive and appealing for the parties, so we can have dialogues with them regarding the inputs and the topics that we are discussing. So please, please answer this question, sorry, either in the chat or the Jamboard, and in the email that I will share soon. And well, other way of keeping engaged during the sessions, during the whole December, could be about writing articles for the ECO, which are daily briefs at the CBD meetings, organized by the CBD Alliance, the other constituency that makes parts to the CBD. And we also are encouraging all of you to participate. It could be with an article, it could be with a photo, it could be with a cartoon, not necessarily you need to write something, but usually the thematic is based on the agenda of the meeting, so the content is chosen between these topics, and they prefer if you submit in advance the material, so they have time to organize, to curate it, and to print it and distribute it. And here in the chat, we're going to share with you the link, because apart from delivering it or distributing it during in person in the venue, it's also published online, so people outside the venue can follow the discussions. And well, other space that we have to engage as Women Caucus is the Women Caucus preparatory meeting. This is an in-person session that we every CBD session we make the biggest effort to organize against sometimes different obstacles, but thanks to the generosity and the creativity of all of our members, we managed to have these preparatory meetings. But now we are like really happy to share that we already have a dedicated room for the Women Caucus during COP. So this preparatory meeting has already a place to be held, and this is going to be hosted on December 6th, just one day before the COP starts, and the day that is in between the OEWG5 and the COP15. And the main objective of this preparatory meeting is to check who are there, like which of our members are actually in the venue, are actually going to be during the following the COP, to review the agenda of the upcoming session, in this case COP15 and the 2 COP MOPs, to make and to already validate and define the task forces and the task distribution, task allocation that we are gonna have, as for example, who is gonna follow which topics, who is gonna make intervention, who is gonna be the thematic leaders for the statements. Also, because we don't know yet about the COVID restrictions, we will need to prepare a rotation chart, for example, to see who is gonna be in the different sitting on the women microphone, because I think that there's gonna be a system as the badges, for example, another restriction about how many people could be in the halls. Yeah, also in this meeting, the preparatory meeting, we're going to conclude the opening statements and to share among us and to give us heads up about the side events that we all are organizing, to know about which actually are going to happen, and to start preparations for a press conference as the Women Caucus, and to keep strategizing about which actions and advocacy activities we will have during the 3 weeks of the COP. And the daily meetings are these other morning sessions that we're going to have possibly daily. We are planning to do that in a hybrid way, meaning that for those that are not going to attend in person the COP, you will be able to join us. Unfortunately, this is going to be the morning in Montreal, so we cannot change the time because we need to do it at the beginning of the day. So it will going to affect you depending on where are you based. The objectives of these sessions are to have quick recaps of previous days, to review the agenda for that day, and to clarify any points that we are going to push forward for, to monitor the task forces, the task distribution, to give again a heads up or key event or topic of each day, and to give also heads up of actions and advocacy that are going to happen specifically each day. So I think we have spoken a lot, and this is like a quick intermediate, like a pause for the session, and we want to know if you have any question, any comments so far. We are more than happy to address them. You can either type them in the chat and or raise your hand if you would like to come. Yes, Tina, please open your camera and your mic.
Yeah, no, thanks, Amelia. Yes, please. I just wanted to also let you know that Ale has put in the Jamboard link. So as we are having these conversations, there is something that you really have a query of, just to kind of maximize the time that we have, please visit the Jamboard. We will go through that. So there are 3 slides there. So there's slide 3 on general queries that you may have. So we will try our best to answer them on the chat in case we missed out something, and in case there is something that you would want us to follow up with. Just look at the Jamboard, and also please help us populate it. And also looking for any questions, as Amelia has invited, either also as a comment on the chat or to speak.
Thank you, Tina. And I will also make use of this break. So please, because if not, the comms team will kill me. Open your camera so we can take a group photo of this session that is happening now. So while we address the questions.
Amelia, we have a question already. It says that are there possible funding opportunities to support women who are interested to attend the COP. And another question is, how can I be an active member of the UN CBD?
Would you like to answer that question, Tina?
Okay, all right. So first one is, how can I be an active member of the UNCBD? Well, the UNCBD is a convention, and one thing of engagement is, are you talking about, so there is no list of like that, the convention, but what the work is done through other major groups and other email exchanges. So say, for example, if you're looking at how can you follow the work on gender in the CBD, then it is, you can send us a request. I just sent in the subscription link on the chat box, which is, so we coordinate the gender considerations or, gender dimension in the work of the convention. Say, for example, if you would like to, as an NGO, and you want to follow the larger civil society engagement, then we can definitely share the coordinator's email. It is the CBD Alliance. Like I said, there are major groups of the CBD. We coordinate the Women's Caucus. The CBD Alliance is a civil society constituency, NGOs constituency. Then if you're like, okay, I would like to engage in the work of the indigenous peoples and local communities, including indigenous women, and if you are from indigenous community, you're also welcome to join the IIFP, that is a Indigenous Peoples Caucus that engages with the CBD. And if for a youth, we also have the Gibbon. So just let us clarify which you want to, which listserv you would like to join. And if you think, I am from all the categories, I'm a youth, indigenous woman, and also an organization, then you're also welcome to join all these mailing lists and engage in all these different spaces. That's also completely up to you. So please let us know, so we'll be able to kind of guide you how you would like to follow this process. Regarding funding, so funding is, the only funding that the CBD has is called the Voluntary Fund for IPLCs, Indigenous Peoples and Local Communities Voluntary Fund. So if you're an Indigenous person or you are local communities, the call for a voluntary fund is still open. And I think it's still until September 15. We had shared the notification again. Please look at the notification. If you qualify for that, it is an open notification. So you are welcome to submit your application to be considered for funding as an Indigenous persons or local communities to participate in the CBD, in the COP15. Regarding the other spaces, we don't have funding per se from the Women's Caucus, right? We are trying to, this is one of the recommendation to the COP, is where we are asking the convention itself to have a dedicated gender mechanism within its secretariat, but also trying to see how they would be able to consider a fund to ensure that we can bring women representatives to the CBD meeting. So that is still in process of negotiation. And also you can sometimes look around. There are some of the funding NGOs or something who may have some funding available. And if there is a funding available from our side, hopefully that's a very positive aspiration that we have, then all this information is shared. But currently, the only thing that I know officially for funding opportunity for the CBD COP from the Secretariat is a voluntary fund only for Indigenous peoples and local communities. So I hope that is there. And I see my colleague Shruti has already sent the nomination, the voluntary fund for IPLC's information. So you can also apply through that. So I hope that's helpful.
Thank you, Tina. Yes, I think the question has been answered. And if someone else have another question, please raise your hand or type them in the chat. And I see, Bibi, are you asking for joining the Women Caucus? The link has been shared and the subscription form is in the 3 languages, in English, Spanish, and French. So, but we all are together in the same mailing list, and well, the communications that we sent out as the co-coordination, we send them in the 3 languages, but most of our members, they speak in English so we can understand each other, because not everyone speaks Spanish and not everyone speaks French, but there's no specific group for French speakers. And yeah, as much as possible, we try to have Spanish interpretation and French interpretation to help all of us to communicate in some way. So, and for the 5 workshops that we're gonna have, the interpretation is gonna be here. So you are more comfortable on participating in the sessions. Okay, so we are moving on to the next part of the session, which is the background of the sessions that already have passed. But first, my colleague Tina is gonna remember us about the. Yeah, Ale, please. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, so we are going to take a group picture right now. So please, you can all turn on your cameras. Yeah, so I'm going to take two group pictures. Yeah. Now it's the first one, so please smile.
La photo, s'il vous plaît. C'est déjà?
No, it's missing one page, so wait, now another smile for the second group picture. Now it's done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ale. So this is a great break, and then now we're moving into the second part with you, Tina.
Ladies.
Can you hear us, Tina?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I think somebody's mic is on.
Yeah, we already mute them.
Okay, all right. Amelia, is there a slide for this?
Yeah, the screen is on. Ale, can you confirm that? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Thanks.
Yeah, can you go to the next one? I think the open and working group is there. The next slide.
Yeah, well, just going before going there, just a quick recap about the workshops that we're going to have. Right now we are in the first session, which is the introduction to this process that we're gonna host as Women Caucus for our members and feminist allies that would like to join the caucus. And the 4 next sessions are gonna be more like a dialogue, more like a discussion regarding the documents. So we will need your support preparing yourself before coming into the sessions. That will be the idea. If you don't have the time, please join us no matter what, so we can keep discussing. But it would be better if you can take a read into the documents, and that's why we're gonna share this background about what happened during the part 1 of all of these sessions. And we're also going to share with you where you can find more information. And in preparation of each workshop, I'm going to send an email with the key documents and with the details of each session, so you can remember. But this is for you to have the big picture about how does the process look like. And so the first workshop is going to focus on the post-2020 GBF, particularly for the 5th session of the open-ended working group on the post-2020. And the workshop 2, we're going to focus on the COP15 item for the agenda items of the COP15. I'm going to share in a bit which are these items. The third workshop that is going to happen on October 5 it's going to be about the Cartagena Protocol meeting. And the fourth and last workshop is going to be about the Nagoya Protocol meeting. And all of these sessions are every 2 Wednesdays at the same time, from 2 to 4 for those that are in the GMT +1. But this means that it's going to be at the same time that was this meeting for you. So depending on where you are, the time is going to be the same. So, okay, moving now into the background for the OEWG 5.
Thanks, Amelia. So looking at the time frame, what we decided was that instead of just having an information webinar, today was a one to put everything in this very concise box, and we will start unraveling it with the upcoming 4 webinars that we've organized. And the idea, like I said, to do that was that the COP is happening after 2 years. There's a lot of history behind what's been happening in the 2 years and what's also been planned between now and the open-ended working group. Like I said, there are a lot of online discussions, a lot of submissions coming up, and lots of also other meetings that have been organized. Now, I'm just going to kind of give you a brief work where Amelia said what would be really very helpful. So the link of the document I've again sent in the slide, and and our colleagues are also sharing it on the chat. So all the information for the open-ended working group can be found in this particular web page. I just took a screenshot with the notion that it may be helpful to visualize how the page forms. Now, if you look at it on the green part, it is the open-ended working group 2025. So far, the documents are not updated yet, so you will only see what's called the notifications. But if you want to go back into what the working group 4 document had, the 2, 1, etc. Now, also understanding that the post 2020 have also had other meetings. One of them is that they that over the 2 years, there has been over the 4 years, there have been regional consultations being organized, different regions. Then you also have other meetings organized for the MEAs. And at the last part, you will also see that there was a small portion there on the gender responsive process. The web page still needs to be updated with the latest news, but you will still see some of the presentations and some of the documents that have been posted there, which will be helpful to at least have an idea on what the discussion around or elements around the post-2020 discussion is. In the second one, what I wanted to kind of give you a glimpse is what the documents look like. Hopefully it's not too complicated, but so like I said, for the working group 5th session, there are no documents there. So I just gave you the example, and the second screenshot is of the open-ended working group session 4, which recently took place in Nairobi. To just look at this, the screen again, is that so there are these different tabs. First of all, you will see what is called, these are all in-session documents. And this is very important for the other meetings, is when you are coming to the other workshops, it will be very important that you do look in these meeting documents to inform you the process, the work, and this is like a black hole, like it just is a lot. So be very selective if you really want to focus on a certain element or a certain agenda of the post 2020. In this, I'll just share with you that you have these different tabs. So one is what's called the plenary sessions. These are what's called the in-session documents which are being discussed. Then you have statements. This is the statement that if you would like to see what your country has proposed, have said in their opening. This is also very helpful because this also helps you give you a quick analysis where the parties are in the positioning or what you could align them with. So I always feel it's also really very helpful. Then the official link, all the official documents. And another important tab out there is the information tab. And this is, again, really very important because on the official documents, if you read through them, they'll have reference to what are referred to as INF documents. And those are the information documents. And these information documents has been are put together by the recommendation of the CBD Secretariat to different agencies or UNEP, WCMC, say, for example, on indicators and stuff like that. So that is which will provide you with additional information on that particular agenda. So I just wanted to give you a glimpse and also to share that, well, unfortunately, it's available not in the world's languages, but at least the 6 UN languages. So for colleagues in Spanish, Russian, French, Chinese, all the CBD documents are available in all the 6 languages. That kind of helps you prepare. So that's, so hopefully that's in a nutshell. And next slide, please.
Thank you, Kate. Yes. Okay. So the next other meeting that is going to happen is the COP15, and we're going to have a dedicated workshop for it. And as we have commenting, it has already have the first part, which was in October 2021. It was virtual and included an online high-level segment. And what you see here in white were the topics that were discussed in that sessions. It was just the organizational matters, the review of some reports of the SBI 3, of the SOPSTA 24, and of the OEWG 2 and 1. And also there was, they needed to define an extraordinary budget for the Secretariat for this year, because the work that they were having during this year was extra of what they have been planned. No? And we know that this happened because of the pandemic, and the Secretariat and the parties to the CBD needed to adapt to what was going on and what is still going on. So that's why they decided to split these sessions, and to keep in order to keep the momentum. They have this first part in October last year, and what they discussed were like the more administrative stuff, the admin stuff, and not necessarily the political and technical discussions. Those are going to happen in December. So in order for you to be prepared for our workshops, we invite you also, as Tina was mentioning, to visit the dedicated webpage for the COP15, where you can find all in-session documents, as you are seeing in this screenshot. In the tab COP15, you click on it and you will have all the different documents. It's not completely updated. We hope that by the day that we are going to have our workshop, which is going to be the second part of September, there's already more info in the webpage. But so far you can see at least the provisional agenda, the reports of the previous meeting that they discussed in Kunming. But the documents that are missing and the ones that we really need to discuss, and I'm just gonna jump a little bit this, are all of these. Because one thing that we want to make clear with this webinar, with this session, is that yes, the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework is one of the key topics that are gonna be discussed in the COP15, but it's not the only topic. As you can see, all of us, we really need to distribute in a strategic way. So we cover most of these topics. The post-2020 is just the item 9 of an agenda that has 27 points, and that are gonna be discussed in 3 weeks, along with the other meetings. So the other topics that are gonna be discussed are, for example, enhancing the integration with respect to provisions related to Article 8J, that we know that is about traditional knowledge. So if you are interested in that topic, please review these documents. Once the documents are there, this is one of the obstacles that all of the constituencies and all of the people that are working with the CBD are facing right now, because the documents are not there yet, but at least we have this heads up. The other topic that is going to be discussed is the digital sequencing information. resource mobilization and financial mechanism, capacity building, technical and scientific cooperation, and others. All of these topics are in the first document, which is called the provisional agenda. If you go into this link that you have in the screen, and you find the first document, which is in the 6 languages, you will find the provisional agenda with these items. And other topics that are gonna be discussed, and we know that some of you are actually working particularly on this. For example, the item number 20, which is marine and coastal biodiversity. Some of you are working on OECMs, other effective area-based conservation measures, is going to be discussed also there. Biodiversity and climate change, biodiversity and health, synthetic biology. So we encourage you all about just reviewing the post-2020 documents, because it's the topic, no, it's the next strategic framework, but also to try to cover at least another topic, so we have inputs for all of them. And what I want to share also about the COP is, you already know that it's going to happen from December 7 to 19 in Montreal, Canada. And here is this is how it looks like, the web where you can find out the documents. Is the similar as the one that Tina shared. All of them have the same layout, but you can see the different titles here about which specific meeting you are looking for. And here in the official tab, you will have this document, and the first one is the provisional agenda. But another point that we want to share with you is that during the COP15, along with the official meetings with the political negotiations, there are 4 other spaces that also help support the raising awareness and to showcase the different work that people are doing around the CBD or under the CBD, which is the Nature and Culture Summit, the Rio Pavilion, and CEPA Fair. For details about these events and how you can participate, for those that are going to be there, and how we can engage as CBD Women Caucus, you can refer into this web page and find out the details. And well, now moving into the background for the third workshop.
Yeah, thanks, Amelia. Once again, yes, so we are just kind of skimming through all these heavy agendas, but we really thought that it's really very important to bring about, once again, what this COP holds. So besides the COP15, which is a compilation of the Global Biodiversity Framework, which is under one agenda item, I was going to type it down. Please refer also to the SBSTA, which is the scientific and technical body of the CBD, SBSTA 24 and SBI 3, because some of those agenda items that Amelia shared on, say, for example, biodiversity and health or synthetic biology, you will see the outcome documents in the SBSTA 24 document. Biodiversity and climate change, biodiversity and health, and bio, they're under SBSTA 24. So I will share the link. So I just wanted to kind of let people know, because like Amelia talked about, if these agenda items are not there in the provisional agenda, besides the provisional agenda, what is helpful is that to look at the SBSTA and SBI documents. When the provisional agenda will be updated, they will have a link to all the draft COP decisions, which will be helpful. So just saying that in preparation for the next webinar already. Yeah, sorry, Amelia, next one. So now that was the CBD COP15. The other 2 complementary protocols of the CBD are the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, which is going to go from its 10th MOP. It's called Meeting of the Parties. And this is again the agenda for it. Like I already shared the link to you. So what elements they have under it? This is capacity building, monitoring, reporting, assessment and review of the effectiveness, the biosafety clearinghouse mechanism. This is the online portal of the CBD Secretariat, where the parties to the Cartagena Protocol are supposed to be kind of feeding in the information to inform the implementation of the Cartagena Protocol. The Cartagena MOP will also be discussing LMOs, the living modified organisms, social economic considerations, and the Nagoya Kuala Lumpur Supplementary Protocol, other matters. I don't know how many people from you, we also wanted to also scope out if anyone from you is following the Cartagena Protocol at the national level or at the advocacy level. It would really be helpful, because usually what happens is that we are a very small team. And like I said, there are so many agenda items. So usually what happens is that majority of our colleagues are at the plenary of the COP, usually COP for 13, 14, and now 15. But with the understanding that we sometimes miss taking the floor at the Cartagena Protocol, MOP, and the Nagoya Protocol. So we are really hoping, because there are certain elements within it that is very important to also for our work, especially in particular to the standalone target of gender equality. When we're talking about safeguards, we're talking about risk assessments and the on LMOs basically. So the Cartagena Protocol, of course, I just put in a quick synopsis here for people. This was adopted in 2000 and came into force in 2003. And I embedded a short video, and this is also available on the CBD Secretariat, though it's 2010 video from the Secretariat on what the Cartagena Protocol is, just to kind of familiarize yourself, especially if you are planning to come to Montreal. Next, please.
Do you want to showcase the video? Or?
No, that's okay. We don't think we have so much of time.
Okay, we might share it in the chat then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the last session that is gonna happen, but it's gonna happen in parallel, the three of them, but the last that we're gonna explain is the Nagoya Protocol MOP 4. Well, a bit of introduction to the Nagoya Protocol is this supplementary document to the CBD that provides the legal framework for the implementation of the third objective that we were discussing about, right? That the CBD, it has the conservation objective, the sustainable use, but it also has as general objective the fair and equitable benefit sharing of the utilization of genetic resources. So the Nagoya Protocol focuses on that topic, and it creates this and gives legal certainty to both providers and users of their genetic resources by establishing predictable conditions to access those resources, but also to ensuring that once the genetic resources leave the country where they are from, also the benefits are shared with the country and with the stakeholder of the knowledge holder or the holder of the resource. So knowing that that is the main point of the Nagoya Protocol, what this MOP in its part 1 discussed, it was again similar to what was discussed for the MOP part 1 for the Cartagena and the part 1 of the COP15 first part. It was just the organizational matters and some reports about what has been discussed in the Substan and SBI regarding the topics that are under the Nagoya Protocol. And in that sense, what is going to be discussed in December are all of this. Again, it's a really, really packed agenda, and we encourage you all to, if you are let us know if you are working on these issues, so we can rely on you to make comments, to review these documents, to help us with the statements, and to provide your specialized input regarding, for example, the financial mechanism and resources under the Nagoya Protocol, capacity building and development under the Nagoya Protocol, about genetic resources and its associated traditional knowledge, about access and benefit sharing, the clearinghouse and the information mechanism, if you are working on that, about also how it is related with the post-2020. We know that there are some targets, and one particularly specific on access and benefit sharing, how it is related, for example, with the global multilateral benefit sharing and other international processes. Again, the documents that you can find them, not yet, but you will find them in this link, which is specifically dedicated for the Nagoya Protocol MOP number 4. And well, so far this is the main content that we wanted to share with you, and we want to open again this space to raise any question, comment that you might have, and